And we are now live. Welcome to What's Good with Gil and Larry. This is our special Oscar, pre-Oscar nomination, and we brought Michelle back. Today we're going to go over our picks, who we think should win, who will probably win, our reviews of these movies that is nominated. So I'm not going to hold this too long because we got a lot to get into. It's going to be a juicy show today. It's going to be an interesting show. So I'm just going to start off with our friend Michelle. Thank you once again, Michelle, for coming on back. Blessings with your presence.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, man.
Michelle, what is your overview, generally speaking, on the nominations of not so much the actors, but the movies themselves? What are you feeling? Is it a good crop this year? Average? Below average? What's your initial thoughts?
I would say for the most part, probably a little bit below average. I mean, I've probably only seen about half, or maybe like 5.5. And there's a couple other things I just didn't get to yet because they're harder to see. I think 2 of them are actually foreign, which is fine with me, but sometimes they're harder to get to. And in some ways, they're probably better than most of the other stuff too. But I feel like it was a really weird year. It's a lot of long stuff that isn't necessarily need to be long. Because long isn't bad, but sometimes if you don't do it well, then it's really bad. And there's a lot of people who I don't think, like, who are usually, for example, well, I don't want to go into it too much, I guess, but there's people who are nominated who've done very excellent things in the past, who I feel like are not up to snuff this year.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you on that point. It reminded me of, if I could use an example, right? It reminded me when Denzel had won that one nomination that year. I think it was for Training Day, wasn't it? When he got the best actor. And it was many movies I felt that he gave way better performance than that what he got that for. I know it's typically not what he do, but
I totally agree with you. I feel like it's something that they like to do. My example that I go to, as well as the Denzel one, which is an excellent example of that, is Cher. They gave it to Cher for Moonstruck, and I think they wanted to give it to her for the movie Mask, which was a few years before, and then you give it to her for something that's basically like stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
I totally agree with that. That's a great point. You're right, because she did a heck of a role in Mask. Like, she definitely earned it. And like you said, Moonstruck was like, that's what she won for?
Yeah, so, and it's the same thing with Denzel, because he's excellent, and it's like, that's the one they gave it to him for.
Larry, you'll understand it in a sports term. What happens during a game when a referee misses a call? What does he usually do after that?
Yeah,
he does a makeup call.
He does a makeup call, a bullcrap call.
He does a makeup call. He calls one that he probably wouldn't have normally, but it's to make up for the one that he didn't call recently, right? So I think your examples are perfect because Mask, Cher was fantastic, but certain people just aren't considered Academy Award material. They kind of hold their nose up, and they still do it. And I'll give examples for this year too. But I think they just saw Cher as, the hippie rock and roller. Yeah, she can act, but she didn't pay her dues. So then when all the complaining and the big hoopla about her not at least getting nominated for Mask, they were like, oh, her next good performance doesn't need to be great, but good. She's gonna not only get nominated, but she's gonna win. I can think of Will Smith when he didn't get nominated for a concussion.
Oh yeah.
And then 2 years ago, he not only gets nominated but wins for
it was
the King.
Was it the King, or was when he had the doctor, when he played the doctor with the concussion?
The doctor, that was concussion. We all thought he should have got nominated at least. He didn't even get nominated. But 2 years ago, he won, and obviously he had that big scene at the Academy Awards for slapping Rock. But he won for King Richards. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, he did win it for King Richards.
For Serena and Venus's father.
Dad, you're right.
Playing the father.
See, now, I don't know that I would think he deserved to win for concussion, but happiness.
Yeah, happiness.
Oh my God.
Happiness. I agree.
The pursuit of happiness.
But
Who he lost to, you can't really complain because he lost to Forrest Whitaker, who was in the business a little longer than him.
Yeah,
you know what's up, Larry.
Well, there's some years
he's
too.
A brother.
yeah.
There's some years where there's a performance that it just doesn't matter. And so like there could be 5 amazing performances, but one of those 5 is just like this. And it doesn't matter how good the other ones are, they don't have a chance. Right. The most recent one I can think of that was the case was the year Daniel Day-Lewis won Best Actor for Lincoln. There was it didn't matter. Nobody was going to beat him that year. It wasn't possible. And so it's unfortunate when you have a good role and then there's something like that that's just beyond.
And
that does happen sometimes.
I think they try and spread it out a little bit. I don't think they like one actor winning year after year after year every time they're nominated. I mean, Meryl Streep won a bunch of times, but Meryl Streep lost 3 times as much as she's won.
Right.
You know, Julianne Moore, she gets nominated every other year, but I think she's only won once. Jodie Foster's been nominated a bunch of times. She's won twice. Tom Hanks has been nominated a bunch of times. He's won twice. Daniel Day-Lewis, he's won at least, I think at least 3 times. I know he won. I know he won for My Left Foot. He beat out Tom Cruise. He lost to Tom Hanks when he got nominated for.
You act like beating out Tom Cruise would be hard. I mean, I could beat out Tom Cruise.
Well, at the time, Born on the 4th of July was considered pretty good. So
that was good.
It may not be your bag, but that was Tom Cruise.
I mean, I'll give him that's one of his better things, but I still don't understand how he's an actor.
He wound up losing. Oh, so I remember now. There Will Be Blood was the other one that Daniel won.
God, that movie is so good.
and then he won for Lincoln. So he won at least 3 times.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, just doesn't, people. I can actually do a sports analogy here. Okay. I hear people freak out all the time when people say the Yankees have enough.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the case. What's enough?
Right. I mean, the Yankees, Larry, you know this. Yankees haven't won since 2009.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, they have the most championships, but they go through droughts.
Right.
They definitely do.
People want to hate and they want to root for who they want to root for. I get it. It's the same thing with acting and movies. But you're right. The Denzel thing, you know where the makeup call was for that? Because I remember this. The Denzel was butthurt that he didn't win for Hurricane. Fact.
Yeah. Yo,
fact.
You're right. You're
he
totally
did not
correct.
like that
You're
all
totally
the
correct.
one.
You're
He
totally
did not
correct.
like that. He
Yeah,
was butthurt, and he's one of those guys that they fear. If he gets nominated and doesn't win, he won't show up, and that hurts the show. Because Denzel had already won before that. He won for Glory, Best Supporting Actor.
But wasn't that Best Supporting Actor in Glory?
Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, Glory is a great movie.
That's a great movie.
I could tell you a funny story.
Yes, let's hear it.
I was like 14 or 15 when that came out, and I totally asked an old man to buy my ticket because they wouldn't sell me one because it was R.
Yeah, are you serious? Wow.
Boy, have times
a
have
long
changed.
way.
Now they don't even have real people dispersing the ticket. Now you
Right.
go to a touch thing, like you're ordering your McDonald's to go.
AI. That's a good point because how would you know that underage are going into certain movies?
Yeah, that's timestamps.
I remember going to the movies to see Ted 2, the talking bear.
Yeah.
That's rated R, rated R, rated R.
Oh, it's rated.
This old lady comes in with her grandson. He had to be like 10 years old. They're sitting right in front of me, and you're hearing all this adult language and innuendo, and I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But what are you gonna do? So Larry.
Yes, sir.
Whether we think the content is great or not, we're gonna make a great show out of this. I mean, that's what we do. We do it every week, whatever the content is. We show up. We show out. Okay, we got our ace Michelle here.
You already know.
And should I preface how like my handle on a lot of things is film bitch. So, if everyone thinks I'm crazy, there's the answer.
Mhm. Well, you definitely have
You
seen
know-
a lot of content over the years,
Yeah.
probably more than me and Larry.
Oh man.
So that's why we ask you to join in these.
Yo,
So
I love
I don't know what
your
our next one will be, but we'll find one because these shows are fun. They're special.
They are.
They really are. I really enjoy
Look
it.
forward to these
Okay,
shows
so
right here.
for the viewing and listening audience, how we're going to do this, we're going to do just the main categories. We're not going to do technical lighting and best score and best screenplay. Those are all nice. Special effects, they're all nice. We're going to do the big ones. We're going to do the super heavyweights. And how we're going to do this is we're going to go through the nominees for each category, and then we're going to pick who we personally would pick, and we're going to pick who we think the Academy is going to pick.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's going to be one and the same. Sometimes it's going to be two different people or movies. We all good with that? We know the
I'm
rules?
with it. I'm with it.
All right, so we're going to do it like they do in the Academy Awards. And the first major award is Best Supporting Actor.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to read the nominees. Best Supporting Actor, we got Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Michelle, you are our guest. You are the lady. So please give us your two, the one you want to win and the one you think will win. And please, you can elaborate as much as you want on any of the nominees.
I've basically seen in the supporting category all but one. I will preface now, I sort of watched Barbie, not totally. So, like, I've seen it and I've seen enough of it, but I also haven't watched it fully, if that makes any sense. But that's what happened. But so for this category, and I haven't seen American Fiction yet, which I'm really sad about because I'm really looking forward to that. I absolutely think Mark Ruffalo should win. I did see Poor Things, and I've never seen him like this before. It was really great to see him in this kind of a role. What I do think is going to win, Robert Downey Jr. Not that I totally have a problem with that because he is very, very good, but I just think that kind of Oppenheimer in general is going to be the big thing of the night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good. Larry,
And
I mean, Michelle, are you done? I didn't mean to cut you
well,
off.
I was just gonna say something about something else, but it's not even that big a deal. I was just gonna say about one of the other performances.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Come on.
So for like Robert De Niro, I was very I don't know, this like it was nothing special.
Oh, man.
So I was kind of surprised for him to even get nominated, and Robert De Niro can be like totally amazing. So it was kind of surprising to me.
Well,
You know-
maybe because of the fact that it was a Scorsese movie. De Niro hadn't worked with Scorsese in a while, and De Niro's back working with Leo. And the movie, it got so much hoopla. Maybe it's one of those because he's just a big name and he's associated with Scorsese. They threw him a bone where he's one of those guys that is in there to help build up the category, but we don't actually think he's going to win. Do you think that's a possibility?
It could be. And, you know, it's crazy that you brought that point up, Michelle, because I literally is about to mirror that same point because I didn't feel it was a wow moment. Yeah, I didn't think he didn't wow me with the performance. It was basic. It was nothing I'm gonna say, oh yeah, he deserved supporting actor on that one. I didn't get to see Poor Things, which I'm mad because I want to see Poor Things. I really want to see Poor Things. But I agree. I think it's going to be Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. I haven't seen American Fiction either. Ryan Gosling and Barbie I don't think is worthy of being supported. To be honest, it was a good movie for what it was for, but no.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he got nominated too.
No. So I'm really by default, if you ask me. I mean, you said, Mark, I want to see Poor Things. So you said it was a role that we're not seeing him accustomed to playing, and he was able to
Yeah,
bring
it
out.
was, and it's definitely like fun and out there too. A lot of what he has
Okay.
to do.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the stuff I think is worthy. That's the stuff I think should win. When you can literally step outside of what you normally would do or what we know you for, or we cast you as, and you are able to pull it off, oh, no, by far, you should win. And I
And
think
pick
the
him.
category is
Pick
not
him.
fit.
Pick him then. Pick him. Say that's the guy that I want to win.
I
He doesn't have to
haven't
be the guy
seen
you think will win.
I haven't seen the movie, but based on what Michelle was saying, I'm 100% feel that he should get it. But once again, I think, like you said, Academy is going to go with Robert Downey Jr. Because
Yeah.
like I think Oppenheimer is going to be that thing of the night. What about you, Bill?
I'm kind of in with both of you guys. Number one, I just want to point out that again how the Academy holds their nose to certain things. I feel only the Barbie nominations are just because it made the most money this year. I don't think they want any part of Barbie whatsoever. Because if they did, how are you going to nominate Ryan Gosling, who's been nominated before, okay, and not nominate Margot Robbie, who was the star? How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? She's been nominated before, too, for I, Tonya. She didn't win, but she was nominated.
You know, I mean, one of the problems I think they've been doing ever since the year of, I guess the year before the movie Moonlight won, is that they got in trouble for being quote unquote Oscars too white. So what wins the next year?
Moonlight.
And then, you know, now it's like women, so we have to give Barbie nominations. I don't like that because, like, as a woman, I would want to know my shit is, excuse me, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
Good.
But I would want to know that my stuff is being nominated because it's good, not just because I'm a woman.
I agree.
That is so funny that you say that because my wife said that to me this morning. She said it feels like every year there's a theme.
Yup.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
And that's why I said it. It started that year that everyone was mad. And then it seems like you said exactly, Gil, since then, there's some kind of thing that they're focusing on.
I mean, you're not going to nominate the lead actress in Barbie, and you're not going to nominate the director. What's that all about? Oh, and by the way, the director's female?
Yes. Oh, and God forbid they give any credit to most of the female directors.
Great point, man. Y'all made some great points on that one.
So I'm just going to say this is obviously a battle between Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk. I've gone back and forth between Mark Ruffalo and Robert Downey Jr. But I grew up watching Robert Downey Jr. I remember a lot of his movies in the 80s. I remember him, you know, with the rehab, coming back, having to go do the rehab again. It looked like his career was in big trouble. And then he rejuvenated himself by playing Iron Man, and he just shot up like a rocket. I want Robert Downey Jr. to win. And like Michelle said, I think Oppenheimer is going to be the big movie this year where it's going to get a lot of these awards, especially the big ones. I think Robert Downey Jr. will win. So that's a double. I'm doubling down on that one. I want to and will win. So that is our best supporting actor category.
And I was going to say all that being said, when I'm looking at the category, I mean, him and Mark Ruffalo are the two best in the category. The only thing I can't attest to is Sterling K. Brown because I unfortunately haven't gotten to see that movie yet. But I mean, I don't know that I wouldn't think he was bad. I think he's pretty good in things I've seen him in, but I don't know if you could compare those two because they are pretty strong performances.
100%. I also did not see American Fiction, but I've heard very good things about it. As far as a movie goes, I didn't hear about personal performance, but as far as the movie, the theme throughout the movie, I heard very good. Very good. So I'll check that out when I can. But I don't have Apple TV. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not paying $20 to have to buy it because it's not available
I
for
agree.
$5.99 to rent, on Amazon Prime. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing
Yeah.
it. We can have a great show without having to do that, and I'll just fake it real well. All right. Next category: Best Supporting Actress in a motion picture. The nominees are Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrara for Barbie, Jodie Foster for Nyad, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. Now, am I saying the movie that Jodie Foster is nominated for, am I pronouncing that right? Nyad, Nyad?
Yes.
Nyad. Okay. Michelle, you are up.
So again, with this category, I have seen all but one. I didn't watch The Color Purple. I'm going to be honest, I don't want to see this new one.
Neither.
I mean, the other one is just so, like, why would you do this, in my opinion? So, I mean, not to say that these people probably didn't do a good job. I just can't bring myself to do it.
I have no interest either.
Neither.
It's
Neither.
like redoing Roots, but making it a musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
no.
it's
No.
just no.
I'm okay. I agree. I'm in the same category. I refuse
So
to
I'm
watch
like,
it.
I can't do it. I'm like, yeah, that's me too. I'm like, I can't see me ever watching it. But I do think this was a very easy category for me. My should win and will win are the same, which is Divine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers. Just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, amazing. And I don't even think it's like, she's supporting and you can't help but just like want to watch everything she's doing in the film. And she really, like, you truly think like this must be her real story. That's how well she does it. So it was a nice, refreshing performance.
Any other standout that you're like, this was good too? Any other year you might pick them?
Actually, the only other one I would really say, like, as a second, would be Jodie Foster, because Nyad, that movie was actually really awesome, and both of them are really amazing in it. And if you guys didn't get to see it, I would suggest it. Yeah. Yes.
I am going to see it. I promise you. Like, I'm going to get all these movies. I promise you, I'm gonna get all these movies. I am. I was diving in, and every movie that I kind of watched that I got to see, like you said, was the same theme. So I said, oh, okay, I see where we're going with this.
Well, I mean, that's
like, yeah, go ahead.
Part of the problem is everything's so long. So it's like we may have watched 5 movies, but we feel like we've watched 10.
Yeah, you're right about that.
100%.
It was long. I mean, I like how it ended. I actually like the themes behind it because they did have strong themes. But I was like, man, this is a slow burner, And then you find yourself like halfway through, like, you know what? I'm already in it, so let me just see how this ends, right? And I totally agree with you when she did the holdovers, because that's the last one I saw. Because at first I was like, okay. I couldn't. Once again, it was slowly coming on. I said, teenagers, But then when I actually got to sat down and watched it, I thought the performances was actually great. Especially her role, because she brought that, like, she was that switch. She was that switch on. That, he was such stuck in his way, and he was able to bring a different side of life that he could see. And it brought a different where he was able to sacrifice it all, man. And I really enjoyed the movie. I thought she was great. I don't think Oppenheimer's wife was that outstanding.
No, me neither.
Not her. I thought the mistress was actually interesting. Not
right, exactly.
Hey.
I'm just saying. So I'm going to go with that too. I believe. Once again, I refuse to see The Color Purple because we don't mess with classics. You just don't. It was cool. It was all right. Don't do that. It looks like it's not going to be good to me. And I didn't get a chance to see Nia, which I will see. I definitely will. And man, and Barbie is what it was, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, they had to throw it in there because of the quote unquote the movement.
It was
you know?
it was the movie of the year box office.
Yeah.
So
But
they
it's
had
like,
to
I
throw in a
think
couple bones.
it's one of those ones that's weird for me because, like, if I'm giving you my truthful opinion, it's not like it's something that I would never want to watch. I don't like the way it looks, all that kind of stuff. I have no interest. But what was happening is tons and tons of people were telling me how good it was, and I was like, "What?" And then it got nominated, so I'm like, "Ugh, I'm gonna have to watch it." And I put it on for my mom one day, but I was doing other things and not paying attention, so that's why I say I've sort of seen it.
Well, you probably missed like a punchline for it. It was building. Larry knows it was building towards something, and then at the end, it gives like a good story.
Yeah.
Okay.
All like the nonsense prior to that, you're like, oh, like okay. Here's an example. Did you ever see the movie Big Fish?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You see how the father, he's giving all these elaborate, crazy stories, trying to convince his son. He's like, none of this could be true. None of this could be true. But getting near the end, it's starting to come together. And then you're like, oh, he exaggerated, but he was telling the truth about all the people and how him and his mom met and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. And actually, I really, really enjoy that movie. Once it all kind of came together, and I think Barbie was a lot like this.
Okay. I do want to like properly watch it. It's been one of those ones that's been like so hard for me because I'm like, but I know that I'll probably end up,
I think for the girls, young girls, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good for them. It's a good self-esteemer. It's a good way to, without giving away too much, it's a good way to say, I don't have to conform to what other people think I should be or how I should look or how I should act. There's nothing
that's a very good message
about me. Okay. Margot Robbie was the standard Barbie. But in actuality, she was more than that. And they were all more than that. And you tried to pigeonhole them. Well, this is Beach Barbie and this is Black Barbie and stuff like, and you didn't need to do that. You didn't need to do that. And they explained that at the end, and it comes together. It does. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a pretty decent movie.
Like you said,
but I kind of agree with Michelle though. I look at these like nominations outside of Oppenheimer. I don't think if we didn't do this podcast, I don't think I would have seen any of these movies.
Me either.
None of them are really in my wheelhouse.
It's definitely that kind of year because I always try to make it like a thing every year that I watch the Best Picture nominees. And it's that kind of year where I'm like, I don't know that I would have watched half of this or even think about it.
No, that's the truth. I mean, even the first one was Barbie for me. I mean, Gil had to tell me, like, no, I mean, you really got to watch it. It really. So I sat down and, like you said, I wasn't looking at no Barbie. I'm like, Barbie, I'm good. I'm really good. Then when I sat down and watched, I said, "Oh, it is good because of the, like you said, the perceptions. You breaking the perceptions of what you're supposed to be and what you think
stereotype.
The stereotypes of what beauty is." And I was like, "Wow, that is true. It's a self-esteem booster for any young girl who's going through that." So that's why I really like the movie because I like they went with it.
Right on. All right. Well, guess what? Jodie Foster in the 80s and 90s was one of my favorite actresses. I like America Ferrera. I'm not familiar with this Danielle Brooks too much, and I like Emily Blunt. But we are going clean sweep in this category. I want Divine Joy Randolph to win, and I think she will win. Clean sweep for the three of us. We all want her to win, and we think she will win. Yes. I thought she brought so much to that movie. Just when you're like, man, can this guy be any more douchey? And she just jumps in there and she does her part and sets him straight, doesn't overdo it. She never comes across as a B, okay? But I loved her part. My heart went out to her, with her role with her son and stuff like that. I think this is the winner. I'd be surprised if she did not walk away with it, and she didn't need to be nominated a handful of times in order. This might be a one and done, but that's okay. That's all right. Whoopi Goldberg was a one and done too. Nominated once, won it, and was
Well,
never.
you know what? But sometimes, like Whoopi absolutely deserved it, and that's the whole thing. Like to me, is if there's a performance, it doesn't matter if it's like you only get nominated once and you win, or like you're not as big as you're not like a Meryl Streep level actor that everyone knows. Like I just think like if it's deserved, it's deserved.
I think like that too, but I think you and I know that some people, they make them wait on purpose for whatever reason, whatever their reason.
Politics.
Yeah, politics, and do they want the guy that started out in hip hop? Do they want him walking away with an Academy Award? Before the age of 50? Things like that. Who knows? Who knows what plays into this? But I tell you what, it didn't do him, any favors by winning and having that kind of a night. It's like,
I will say one of the weird things with things like this is that you have to, I don't know what it is, almost like nominate yourself, or like your like producers like have to decide that they want to nominate you for your performance and stuff like that, which I think is a little weird in a way, because I think it makes more sense for like other people to do it. But if you don't put yourself forward, then they won't do it. And then after so I don't know what the initial amount is, but like after they get everything that goes forward, then like if you've ever seen like Variety or anything like that, it'll be like for your consideration. A lot of that is so that the Academy voters vote for what goes into the categories, and then again they vote for what wins.
Right. Yeah.
That's
I mean, it seems like they make it a complicated system when it should be really easy. It should be really, okay, I don't want the kids, to be nominating, every superhero that they like. All right, I get it, but we can do this as an adult. You can enjoy a performance, like the latest, for example, I know you don't like Tom Cruise, Michelle, but the latest Mission Impossible, I mean, that should be nominated for a few things. If you don't want to nominate Tom Cruise, that's fine. But that movie was good. That movie was good. And if you're going to nominate Barbie for a few things, you should have nominated Mission Impossible, because that movie made some money internationally, big time. And I mean, some of those scenes, some of the special effects, I mean, all right, no Tom Cruise, but you can't throw that in there for Best Picture, even if it's not going to win. Well, we never thought Black Panther was going to win a few years ago. We never thought that, but it was cool that it was nominated. It was cool that it got that recognition.
There's a couple of problems I have. Number one is like the most popular movie doesn't mean it's actually a Best Picture ever. Just because it's popular doesn't mean it's actually good. Also, one thing I think that the Oscars should do is, like, the Golden Globes has Best Drama, and then it also has Best Comedy or Musical. I think that there should be 2 or 3 kind of things like that, because the problem is the absolute best comedy ever made against the absolute best drama ever made, drama's going to edge it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just common sense.
Yes.
So I think that there should be a separate category. That's it just makes more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are really, really excellent comedies and things like that. And maybe they should even do an action category, because again, a movie like Mission Impossible up against, a real dramatic movie, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
So like if you want more recognitions in those ways, then I think it should be like a little bit separate categories.
Yeah, they're gonna take the actor that does the serious dramatic role over the one that's funny. They're just gonna do that. That doesn't mean that it's a better performance, but you're right. You're they're almost not even fruit. It's like you're comparing an orange to broccoli. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it, and that's like, because so the best orange and the best broccoli, they can't, and that's the problem.
Right.
Question, right? Right. And I got a question because it's going to lead to actually a question, because I always say like music and entertainment is all interconnected, right? Because the same thing is going on the other side of the Grammys. The same type of things. The people that should have won in certain categories, they don't win. So it's like it's the politics of everything, right? When was the Academy? When did they form the Academy and start actually nominating doing the Oscars? Do you know the year off top? Or around that era?
1927, I think.
Okay, 1927, right? So if they established these rules in 1927, we're in 2024, correct?
Yeah.
Meaning that the world has changed. So being that we are still going off this 1927 standard, it's no different in music where they go off of the, this they base it on vinyls. Obviously, we know we're in a digital era.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different era, right? So you have to make the adjustments to the era, right?
Mm-hmm.
To your point, we're going for 1927 classification of these categories. Shouldn't by this time, since the world is changing, that you could implement to make it more I could say at least more like you say, it's not an even playing field, because no way action movie is going to hold weight with a drama.
Mm-hmm.
Vice versa, like with a comedy. So yes, we do need to implement, or they should consider the idea of implementing certain different categories, so that at least is a better playing field, in my opinion.
My only pushback on that is it's already like a 2-night affair. Yeah. The Academy Awards. They have the Sunday night, but you see throughout the show they say earlier in the day or last evening.
Well, I mean, all of them have that. All of the awards, Grammys, everything. There's stuff that they don't do, but the thing is, like, I think to make it more proper. I mean, then because I know one of them. I don't know if it's the Academy Awards or the Golden Globes. One of them just added a category, but I don't know if it was done this year. It's going to be done next year, maybe. Which is like most popular movie of the year or something like that. But I don't know how they're doing it, because I feel like I was reading about it and it is going to happen. I just don't think it's this year, it's next year. And I think they're going to have everybody vote on it, like people. So it's almost like People's Choice Awards. Well, there's People's Choice Awards already. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Right.
But at least the Grammys, they have more categories. Like you're going to have, best country, best rock, best rap. That makes sense to me.
They can add more categories if they stop having people talk that we don't want to see talk.
Yeah,
and you don't have to do a performance for every song that's nominated, in my opinion.
Well, there's only 5 songs, so I don't see how that matters.
that's what, 4 minutes, and then they go to commercial.
Yeah.
I mean, you just think. If you take away those 4 performances, you can have 5 more categories.
They just have to put some of the other stuff with the technical ones, like some of the stuff that they've always shown, they could do with the technical ones, like some of the visual and all that.
Mm-hmm. And some of like the host, sometimes they got acts throughout like the show, and it's like, you know what, you had your opening act. Well, let's move it along. Yeah. I don't need to see Jimmy Kimmel and Matt Damon again. I don't need to see that again. I get it. It's an orchestrated rivalry that doesn't exist. I don't need to see it again. So that's
also, all of that being said, sometimes I think I've noticed with the Golden Globes, they put things in the comedy musical category, which I think they do just so that it gets something. Because you reminded me when you said Matt Damon, Air was in that category. That was not a comedy or a musical.
It definitely wasn't.
But it was
like,
good.
What? Yeah,
it was good.
It was a good movie, but like you're just putting it in the wrong category, and so like I don't know how they get away with that as well. Right. But
I hear you. They wanted to throw them in there, but they didn't really fit. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You see that movie Air, Larry?
I did. Somebody Jordan.
That was good. The music, 1984, baby. 1984. That was the year. Oh, love that year. All right, let's go. Let's move along. All right, we're going to go to Best Lead Actor. in a motion picture, the nominees are Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers. What is that? Cecilian Murphy.
It's
for
Killian.
Killian.
Oh, good. Killian. Let me Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. There's someone in here I really want to win, but we're not going to go to me first. Michelle, you are first. Any standouts? Who do you want? Who do you think will?
It is another one. Well, I haven't seen two of them in this category. Because I haven't seen American Fiction, but Jeffrey Wright I know is an amazing actor. So, and then I have not seen Rustin. In fact, I'm not even sure I heard of what Rustin is.
Me either.
I will say that of what I would like to win and what I know will win, I kind of like both. But I do think that Paul Giamatti just edged it for me. He's always good. He's always one that I've always liked, but I really like seeing him play such a cranky character, if you will. And but I definitely think Cillian Murphy will win. And I'm not saying he was really good too. But I just think Paul Giamatti edged it a little bit more for me.
Man, I thought you were going somewhere else with that one, Michelle. Because
Bradley Cooper wasn't bad, but there's a whole lot I can say about that. A little later, maybe.
Yeah, because I was like, I thought that it's a role that I didn't really, like of all the roles, I was like, man, that was different. It was different. Like that character was a character. So I was there like, man, that made me even watch it even more because he was just such an interesting character, Like I said, I know the more likely they're going to give it to Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, which wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but I thought I'm in agreement with you on that. I just thought it might have been between Bradley Cooper and Paul Giamatti. But once I saw Holdover, I was like, he played a good role. Like he really did. He played a really good role. He was definitely a douchebag. Definitely a douchebag. I did not see that flipping over, you know what I mean? Because it was like, man, he was rough. He was rough, man. But I thought just Bradley Cooper was just out of his what we normally see him as.
Out of his element.
Yes.
I don't know. See, I don't think I thought that. But I've seen other things that he's done. So, I've seen a lot of stuff he's done. So I don't know.
So was that kind of like a typical? You thought that was a far stretch from some other movie I've seen him in?
Not really. I mean, not particularly. I mean, it was definitely better than when he was in A Star Is Born, which everyone seemed to go crazy about. Yeah. Because his performance in that was really I just felt like he was trying to do the same performance as Chris Christopherson in the 1970s Star Is Born. And I feel like the 70s one is not one you guys would watch.
I saw it.
And I just felt like Bradley Cooper in that he was doing some weird version of Chris Christopherson. And I was like, why? Why didn't you make it your own? I mean, that's the fourth time that movie was done. Yeah. So I guess I don't know. I guess I've seen him have heart in certain things in the past, so I could see how he went all in on this. And I will say, I guess a little foreshadowing here, the best part of Maestro, was his performance.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was. I agree. Totally agree. Outside of it, I was like, I wouldn't watch this movie.
Yeah.
At all.
I did not. That's why I waited until last night to watch it. I waited till last.
So you had a long night.
Yeah, you had a long night.
Bad night to watch.
You had a long night, Gil.
I was watching The Painted Veil, and I was like, oh, I gotta watch Maestro. So Larry, officially, who'd you say you want to win, and who'd you say you think will win? Officially,
I personally want. I'm in agreement with Michelle. I want Paul Giamatti to roll. I thought he just played a heck of a role, man. And I mean, Oscar not worthy role from the people. Once again, I haven't seen American Fiction, so it might have been jaded if I would have saw it. I don't know.
Right.
But what I saw, if you ask me between Cillian Murphy and Paul Giamatti, oh, it's easy for me. Paul Giamatti. I mean, I thought Oppenheimer was, like I said, it was a good movie, right? But I don't think it was something that was like, that made me be like, wow, this is like, this character is like, got me. It was like, okay, it was history. It was like history, and it was a part of history I didn't know. So it was interesting on that end. I knew about the atomic bomb. I know about the Manhattan Project to that degree, right? But
that was a good description of Oppenheimer, because like there are big history movies that have really, like, they've done their job well, and I it brings me back again to Lincoln was so excellent.
Yeah.
And like that's what I expect out of something like Oppenheimer. And not to say like I didn't think it was bad, but it wasn't up to that par.
I agree.
So in that sense, you're disappointed even though you're not really disappointed.
Right. So you think Cillian's gonna win?
Yeah, because I think once again it's gonna be the big thing of that night. You know how it is, man. Once you get on the roll, man, it's like like every other category they get. It's like Oppenheimer.
Yep. Oppenheimer again.
The score won. Oppenheimer. The dog even won. The best supporting dog. We had a category.
That'd be a great category.
Best bomb explosion. Oppenheimer.
Okay. So they go crazy when they get on the road, man. We've seen this narrative, man. We've seen this time and time again. That's the only reason why I said that. But is it worthy? Not what he done. He made the movie. Obviously with the best supporting actors too. Them working together, great movie, man. They made it a good movie. Even though it was long and drawn out, but they made it a good movie. So, but what about you, my friend?
Well, I'm in agreement and I'm in disagreement. Okay. The agreement is I think Paul Giamatti should win. I want him to win. I've been a fan of his for a while. I thought it was a great role. By the way, was this just for the movie, or does Paul Giamatti really have a lazy eye? Because I never noticed it until this movie.
I mean, I didn't notice it in the Cinderella Man. He ain't look like he had a lazy eye in Cinderella Man.
I didn't notice it in Private Parts. I didn't notice it in
I mean, that's a good question, because he is kind of a weird looking dude, but
he's a funny looking guy. He's definitely a funny looking guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's no looker, which gives him more credit for the fact that he is so in demand, because he doesn't have the look of like a lead actor. His big breakout part was Private Parts, playing Howard Stern's boss, who he never actually researched. I heard him in an interview with Howard Stern pretty recently. He just went by who he thought by reading the script how he would be. And Howard Stern's like, you nailed him. I mean, I was the guy. That was pig. You were Pig Vomit. But my wife pointed out, she's like, hey, he's got a lazy eye. And I didn't see it at first. And then in other scenes I saw it. I'm like, oh, he does have a lazy eye. And then we know at the very end of the movie what he does. He's like, I know what you're going to ask me. And it's this one. He does that. He does that at the end. I'm like, was it just for the movie, or what's going on here? So I don't know. I thought maybe one of you guys knew. But anyway, I think Paul Giamatti should win. But I'm going to go with what Larry was hinting towards, but he didn't pick. I'm going to go with Bradley Cooper for the win. And I think it's going to fall into one of those things where he's been nominated a bunch of times. I think this is his fourth time nominated. And he's got his fingerprints on everything in this movie.
But didn't he win? He won already.
No, he didn't win. He got.
I'm almost positive he won for the Silver Linings movie.
Best actor?
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Do you have access to your computer as you do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
I
a
don't-
iPad right here. I can look it up.
I don't think he won, but I'm not 100% sure. But I know he didn't win for American Sniper. I know he didn't win for
Which is a good one. You should have got that one.
Paradise Alley. No, was it Paradise Alley? The one 2 years ago. He didn't win for A Star Is Born. So this movie, he directed, he wrote, and he's executive producer.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's all that in this movie, and he's playing a real guy. This is not a
Yeah, I
fiction.
know. He's a real guy.
And he looks just like him, especially when the movie goes to color. He looks just like this dude. So I don't think he's won. I know he's been nominated. I don't think he's won.
Oh, he never had.
No,
He never had. No,
never had.
right.
Looked
He was
it up.
nominated, but he didn't win. It says he was among the most. He is among the most Oscars nominated people who have never received the award.
Uh-oh. Look at the brains on Gil.
Oh, you know why? That was the Lincoln year, and that's
Was it
why
the
he
year?
didn't win.
Oh man, he wasn't going to beat
Because
out
I'm
Lincoln.
that, that's actually precisely why I always say what I say when there's a performance like that. It sucks when you do something like he did with Silver Linings because you're just not going to get it, even though it's an excellent.
Mm-hmm. That was a good movie.
It was a good movie, but to the credit though, they didn't drop the ball that year with Lincoln because that was.
I mean, I think you're right in the sense that if they give it to him, it'll be one of those makeup things because otherwise, I don't think he really deserves it.
Yeah, you're right about that. Drop the flag. They dropped the flag, so we're gonna get him this year.
Gotta pick it up.
You're gonna pick it up.
Yeah.
Pick it up. All right. Let's go to Let's go to Best Leading Actress. The nominees are Annette Bening for Naiad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. Michelle, who do you want to win? Who do you think will win?
Well, my want to win is kind of hard because I'm really torn between two. But I would be happy with either one of them, and that is Annette Bening for Naiad and Emma Stone for Poor Things. They both were just really excellent in their performances. I will tell you that Lily Gladstone will win, and kind of like I just said about Bradley Cooper, Lily Gladstone's performance is the best thing about Flower Moon. So, you know, I think that's why certain things are going to go the way they go. I know Annette Bening gets nominated a few times, but I think she's only won once.
Did she win for Bugsy?
Yeah, which I don't know that I would have given it to her for that.
Right.
But she is really, really excellent in Naiad as well. And Emma Stone's character is, kind of like when I was describing what Mark Ruffalo as well. It's such a wild, interesting role, and she does such a great job at it that she really deserves it. And then, actually, both Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone won the Golden Globes, but that's because they do, for Best Actor and Best Actress, they also do the additional categories. So one is drama and one is comedy or musical.
Oh man, I wish once again I wish I would have saw Poor Things and the because once again probably my opinion probably would have swayed. If I would have seen both the movies. Mad that I didn't get to see them, but for what I saw, yeah, Lily Gladstone definitely carried that movie, man. Like seriously, like she's the one that really sold it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She just, oh man, she really sold that movie, man. Like, especially all the stuff that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
and just how she was able to like still put all her faith and stock in this person that was literally, I'm not trying to give a movie away for those that haven't seen it, but it was heavy, you know. And at the end, even that end piece was, to me, was like the cap, like, man, wow, you know. So yes, she probably will win. I mean, yeah, more likely she probably win, you know. You know, Barbie is not going to win anything. So we gotta have some type of female with a strong performance in this thing to win it, right? And it's, once again, it's dealing with outside of who would normally win in the academy. You know what I mean? We're in this world now where you kind of like, yeah, everybody got to get a piece of the pie. You know? Yo.
So you both think Lily's gonna win?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I admit I did not see Killers of the Flower Moon, but I did some research on it because I didn't want to be totally in the dark and reading about performances and stuff like that. I did not see Naiad, but I love Annette Bening, or at least I used to. Emma Stone, I like Emma Stone, but she just won for La La Land not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of almost eliminate her. I did not see Anatomy of a Fall, so I can't say anything about Sandra Hüller. So I'm just going to go with Carey Mulligan for Maestro. I thought she was good. I thought she was better than some people that have already won in the past. So I'm going to go with her that I'd like to see win. I don't think she will. We're all in agreement. I think Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon will win, take home the Oscar. That movie's got to win something significant, and I think that's the one, right there. So we're in agreement there. So that was Best Actress. Let's see, we did supporting. Okay. Let's do before we do the two big ones, let's knock out the fun one. Best Animated Feature.
Oh man. I already know my pick.
I think there's only 4 nominated if I'm right.
No, there's 5.
It's 5. All right, well, you tell me which one I missed, okay? Elemental, okay. Nimona, Robot Dreams, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Which one am I missing?
The Boy and the Heron.
Didn't see it, so I won't be picking that. Michelle, go for it. Who do you think?
Man.
Who do you want?
Well, this is gonna be real easy for me. I have seen none of them.
Oh no.
But based on just things that I know or have read or whatnot, I think what will win, although I suppose tell you what I think or what I would like to win first. So I didn't see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but I did see like the first one, and I really liked it. So I'm going to go with that as my want. But I do think The Boy and the Heron will win.
Wow.
I wish I had an opinion on that movie. Totally in the dark.
Me too, man. But I actually was like, I liked the Spider-Man and Metaverse. It was real good. It was good, right? But honestly, I thought that, and I haven't seen Nimona and I haven't seen Robot Dreams, right? But I like Elemental. I actually like Elemental. I watched Elemental and I like the concept of Elemental.
I wanted to see it because I thought the concept was cool. I just didn't get to it.
Yeah, it was definitely a good concept, man. Like, and then for the hot and the cold, for them were 2 different elements to try to make one, which is impossible. I like the way they played off of that. You know what I mean? Like, she's fire, he's, and then the emotional part of it, like, it really had you emotionally, like, you felt for the guy when he evaporated, like, oh man, he died. Oh, and he was all sensitive. So for me, I think that I haven't seen Boy and the Heron, but if it's classic, knowing more than likely classic is going to win. And I know it's a classic, so I want to see Elemental win, though. Be honest, I like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It's a dope movie, but I actually think Elemental, in my opinion, outweighed it.
So who did you want to win? Elemental.
Oh, Elemental.
And you think Elemental will win?
I haven't seen a Boy and Heroine, so I'm thinking I'm gonna go with Michelle, but it's a classic. 'Cause you know how it is with the classical movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know it's based on a book, isn't it?
Is it based on a book, Michelle?
Is it based on a book, Michelle? The Boy and Heroine?
Elemental?
No,
No, Boy and Heroine.
the one that you.
Oh,
picked.
I think it might be, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Well, I can't comment on that movie. I didn't see it. I didn't read it. This is actually.
I do know that it won the best, it won at the Golden Globes, and I think it won someplace else, so that's kind of why I went with it as well.
Well, the one that I want to win, I just watched this morning again with my son again, and it's Nimona, believe it or not.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I remember, I guess when we were starting to watch it, or at some point, my wife said, this movie is nominated for Academy Award, but I didn't know it was like the movie. I thought maybe something in it, like animation, something like that. But no, it's actually nominated, and it's pretty good. So I'm gonna say I want Nimona to win. I saw Elemental; it was pretty good. I think. Now I don't know about this movie Michelle's talking about. That excluded. I'm gonna say Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse wins, but for me personally, I was a little disappointed in it.
Really, it's not as good as the first one.
I don't like it as much as the first one. It made me dizzy, and I had to stop.
Aww.
It was too much. It was too much.
Hey, Michelle, he's not lying. If from 1 to 2, I'm gonna pick the first one because it was a lot going. Like you said, it was a lot going on. But we know we get it. It's multiverses, so you know how I go with the multiverses. It's different elements, but it was like that first one was like, to me, I felt it was like really good. And when I saw the second one, I was like, it's good, but not on the level I thought the first one was. So I was slightly disappointed on how they ran with the second one. There's a lot going on, a lot.
I'll say this: if you're one of those people, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, but if you suffer from epileptic seizures, this is not a movie for you.
Oh wow!
Because a lot of moving bright lights, a lot of patterns moving all over the place, and I was like, I'll get back to this, and I never got back to it. So it might win, but I'm gonna go with Nimona for me personally. All right, now. Let's do the big ones, guys. Two big ones. Here we go. Ready?
Sure.
Best director. I don't know if I'm going to say this right, so work with me. We got Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. We got Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. We got Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer. We got Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things. And we got Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. Never even saw the Zone of Interest. Never heard of The Zone of Interest. So I'm going to give you a heads up right now. He's out. Fraser is out on my end. Michelle, who do you think will win? Who do you want to win? Or who do you want to win? Who do you think will win?
I saw 3 of the 5. So of what I saw, I would go with Yorgos for Poor Things. Because that's just a very, very cool, different kind of movie. I don't know if you guys have ever seen anything else he did. He did The Lobster.
Oh, and Colin Farrell?
Yeah. And I'm forgetting what the other movie is that people would have seen, but he does these little bit of out there kind of things, but they're really cool. Like they're usually very good. But I think I'm just gonna go all in on. I just want the girl to win.
Oh, Justine.
Yes, because they don't give women directors enough love at all. Even though I haven't even seen the movie yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then who will win is Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer. And when it comes to Scorsese, normally I'd be all over Scorsese. I think this is the worst Scorsese movie I've ever seen. So I will not be behind Scorsese.
You think it's worse than Mean Streets?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I agree. I mean, for a Martin Scorsese movie, yes.
You think it's worse than The Irishman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah! I like that. I actually like The Irishman. Crazy was.
I like The Irishman too. The Irishman was long and drawn out, but it was like worth it.
It was because I liked it. I know the characters. If you knew the real life people. That's what
he made up a lot of stuff. A lot of that stuff not true.
He did, but it was just good based on what we know of. Hoffa and But for this, it was like
the biggest problem with Scorsese is like he is excellent and he's one of the best directors we have. And then like for this to be what he put out, I'm so like, what? And like I cannot stand. I do not like. At least he can act sometimes. He's not as bad as Tom Cruise. I cannot stand Leonardo DiCaprio. Cannot stand him. You know who can direct him? Normally, Scorsese. So now I have a movie where I'm thinking, oh, okay, I can handle Leonardo in this. Nope. And then it's not even like it's a Scorsese directed movie. It's funny. A friend of mine watched it, and the way they described the movie, which I thought was really funny after having watched it myself, was they're like, I don't understand why he made this like 3+ hour movie when it could have been an 1.5-hour documentary. Which is kind of funny after you watch it. It makes a lot of sense, that comment.
Well, I think a lot of Scorsese's films are way too long. Same thing with Christopher Nolan. I thought Gangs of New York, you could have cut that in half. You could have cut that movie.
Gangs of New York.
And then the ending was so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Gangs of New York. No, Gangs of New York was really good.
Anybody could have done Cameron Diaz's role. I actually did not like Leo in that movie because I didn't like his accent. I thought obviously Daniel Day-Lewis was incredible. Liam Neeson wasn't in it long enough.
Gangs of New York. Daniel Day-Lewis was for me, man. Yeah, man. Man. He played that role, man. That's what I like. To this day, if I'm like laying around, I'll pick Gangs of New York. She'll tell you. My chick will tell you. She probably saw about 10 times messing with me. Because I pick Gangs of New York on. I just don't want to see Daniel Day-Lewis, be honest. I just love that character, man. He played that character, man. So, and like you said, it's been the same theme all night, man. We've been talking about the Oppenheimer. So you actually think they're not going to get a clean sweep? They're crazy.
Yeah.
Okay?
I mean, it actually would be a pretty nice shock if it doesn't.
It would be. It would be. It would be. I mean, I thought he did a good job directing it, though. It was good. It was a good direct. It was good. He did a good job how he, brought us to that atomic mindset, because I didn't realize that to watch this movie, like, man, these guys really playing with, like, they could have blew up the world. They was willing to do it. Like, that's a dangerous thing. Obviously history happened. We look at it like what it was, but they didn't know what was going to happen. They're just going off of calculations,
Yeah.
Again,
I think that's the thing too, like with the Oppenheimer, because I've seen a lot of things that have been about like the bomb and everything. And there was a movie that came out probably late 80s, early 90s called Fat Man and Little Boy, which was all about that. And I think I liked that better than Oppenheimer. Not to say that I disliked Oppenheimer, but like that's why it's kind of disappointing, like when we talk about it a lot, because it's like it should be. It's not terrible. It's just it's not up to the par that it's getting nominated for.
Mm-hmm. It might just need to be good enough to be better than the competition.
I mean, that's the kind of year it is.
Good enough.
And it was funny too because Oppenheimer was probably the first one I saw of the list because I had actually seen it in the theater. I went to see it in IMAX. I was very excited to see it. And then I was kind of like, it's so long, like and everything. And again, I don't mind a long movie, but if I feel that it's long, you're not doing your job.
Right. So Larry, who do you want and who do you think will win?
Once again, I only saw Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer. I didn't get to see Anatomy before. I didn't get to see Poor Things, The Zone of Interest. So
It's like a 2-horse race for you.
yeah, it's a 2-horse race, man. So I'm gonna go with who I want to see win is actually Oppenheimer. I think I'll go Oppenheimer. I thought it was if we're gonna compare the two, it was a better of the two.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they both taught me something, so it made me dig into my research bag because I didn't know anything about that whole the killing of the Native Americans and them being rich and that whole. So I actually went and did the homework. I said, "Wow, man, that was heavy, right?" And then Oppenheimer made me dig into the bag because once again I knew about obviously everybody knew about the atomic bomb and everything, but it made me really go into the Pacific War side of it, not the German side of it, because we already know about the German side of that war, but nobody really talked about the Pacific side of it as much detail as they did the German side,
Mm-hmm.
So that made me go back and I started watching World War II, the Pacific, like the real, how they do in color and stuff, like the real war. So that type of stuff. So I go Oppenheimer. How about you, Gil?
It was slim pickings for me. There wasn't between. I only saw out of the 5. I only saw one of these movies. So I would be picking a movie that I didn't see and the director. So it's just a little disingenuous for me. I'm gonna say Oppenheimer wins, and I guess that's who I want to win. Although I'll be honest, I think Christopher Nolan is a little bit overrated. His movies tend to be a little long, all of them, like Scorsese, a little on the long side. I thought Tenet was terrible.
Oh man, who you telling, man?
I thought Dunkirk was mediocre.
Oh man, who you telling, man?
Mediocre at best. And I thought it was going to be good. I went to the movies for that.
Dunkirk is better than Oppenheimer in my view. Because I also saw that in IMAX, and that did not make me feel like I was sitting there for as long.
What the thing about Dunkirk was the music was building like something was going to happen, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing really. Nothing.
Also, to be fair, you go knowing what's going to happen.
I didn't really know. I didn't know the story of Dunkirk. I didn't know about all the people coming in their personal boats at the end to rescue the soldiers stuck on the beach and stuff like that. I didn't know all that, but whatever. My favorite movie by Christopher Nolan is The Prestige. That's my favorite.
The Prestige is a very good movie.
I could see that movie over and over, and I think Memento was really good.
I was gonna say, what's the one? It's Memento that I was thinking of because I was like, what's the one that was like the big one that's just attached to his name, and that's what I was thinking.
All those Dark Knight movies, the Batman movies.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. All 3 of them.
Okay.
Those are all Christopher Nolan.
Long movies.
I forgot that he did those, but Memento was definitely what I was thinking about.
Memento is good.
Yeah.
Because he's suffering from short-term memory, so he has to do tattoos on his body. So when he reads them, he can remember and go back and try to jog his memory. I recommend it. It is not dated, Larry. Memento. Memento. You'll like it. You'll like it. All right. Well, one last category. It's the biggie. It's got the most nominations, and I actually saw a few of these movies. Not all of them. About half. Best Picture nominees are The Holdovers, American Fiction, The Zone of Interest, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Past Lives, Anatomy of a Fall, Maestro, and last but not least, Killers of the Flower Moon. Michelle, who do you want to
So
win? Who do you think will win?
I've seen 6 of the 10 so far, or 5.5 if when in regards to my way of seeing Barbie. Um, and of what I saw, the only one that I feel like gave me any Best Picture vibes and that I could truly feel out of what I've seen is a Best Picture is The Holdovers. Yeah, to me, it's like the full circle of what a Best Picture should be. Um, but I do think what will win is Oppenheimer. And then I also could give Poor Things a little bit of a for Best Picture because it's just a very cool, unusual movie. Well done. So, but again, I just think it's a weird year.
Yeah.
Nothing stands out really,
100%. Larry?
Yeah,
Who do
I'm
you
in
think-
agreement
who do you
with
want to win?
Michelle, man. I'm in agreement with Michelle. Like, and I know that, I want to be the opposite, but she's right. It wasn't a strong list of movies where you can be like, wow, this was at the top of the heap. It wasn't none of these movies I'm gonna be like, yeah, I was wow by. It wasn't that. Cause once again, it was the same thing. It was long drawn out. You had to get to the root and get to the end of the movie. And I thought my show was interesting because I didn't know where it was going. Be honest, I didn't know where it was. I did not know where this movie was going, man, at all. So as it got more eccentric in his lifestyle, was I kind of put out there, like, okay, Bradley Cooper did play a good role, for him.
I don't think I mentioned like one of my issues with Maestro though was like here's a movie that's supposed to be like a biopic, and it's like it's glossing over his career and it's focusing on like weird personal parts of his
Yeah.
life, which is fine because I think you need both when you do a biopic. But if somebody's a famous person and you're doing a biopic about them, you don't just do, oh, well, you know what, we're really just going to focus on the personal life. Like you need a combo.
I agree.
And that's one of the reasons this movie just was not great to me. It was drawn out and it was just like, what story are you trying to tell me here?
Like
100%. You think of like Bohemian Rhapsody, okay? That was a lot about their career, Freddie Mercury's career, the band's career, the songs as they evolved, through the 70s, through the 80s. And yes, they did do a lot with his personal life and, and him getting AIDS and dying young and stuff like that. But it was a good mix. It wasn't too much of this and too much of that.
Exactly.
Even that Elton John movie, I thought was a pretty good mix for the most part. This, I agree with you, Michelle. They very much kind of just glossed over how amazing of a conductor and composer and that he was, and they focused so much on his personal life with his wife and
Yes.
lovers and even how the movie ended. The fact that it ends with him being in a club with one of his students, I was like, really? Like when it was over, I'm like, it's over? I waited through this whole long movie. And this is how it's going to end? It's going to end with him dancing in a club?
And it wasn't even like trying to tell the story of somebody like Rock Hudson who most of their life hid that they were gay or something. Like it wasn't even a movie like that where like they're trying to show you this part of his life that he always hid, because Bernstein wasn't really all that hidden anyways. Like that was something everyone kind of knew. So like I just don't know what point they were trying to get at with this movie. It just didn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So Larry, you like The Holdovers, but
yes.
You think Who do you think's gonna win?
Oppenheimer. Clean sweep.
Well, guess what? Guess what? You've heard of the term "birds of a feather flock together"?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Well, guess what? I want to see the holdovers win, but I believe, and I don't think it's a stretch, I think Oppenheimer will win. So we agree again on both.
But
Again.
how awesome would it be if we get the upset of the holdovers?
I'll text you.
Yeah,
I'll
that
watch
would
it
be
live
great.
and I'll text you.
Yeah.
You know what?
I'll be like,
That-
we did it.
We did it. Like, we trumped the Oscars, man, because I thought that it was worth it. Like, if all these movies, if we're going to be on this is not the most interesting group of movies categories of this year's Oscar, then I'm going to go with the movie that actually have my interest because the character was just that good.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them. You know? Like, him being that douchebag, man. I was like, let me see. Because I told you, I tried to watch it and I looked over the movie at first, Gil. I really did. I looked over it like, I'm not going to be able to get this. This is, what's the point? Right? But then when I started watching him and he get into his character, I was like, oh, okay, hold on, let me see. My lady saw it. She was trying to tell me about it, but I was, I don't know what you're talking
about. By the way, he wasn't nominated. I got two side notes before we end. He wasn't nominated, and I don't know his name, so that's my bad. But the kid in the movie, The Holdovers, I thought he should have been nominated just on the scene where he goes to visit his father.
Yeah.
I was choked up. I was choked up with that.
That was a good one, man.
And you know what? I mean, now that you're saying that, you know what I thought is weird that didn't get nominated? And I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Saltburn.
Oh my gosh. My wife just watched it yesterday. It's on Amazon Prime. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. She said that movie she thought was going in one direction and then went in another direction.
Oh yeah, definitely exactly what happens.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, Amazon Prime there, Larry.
I definitely got to check it out.
It's Saltburn.
That's the thing, like, when you were talking about the holdovers, is like every preview I had seen for it, I was kind of like, I thought I knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, that'll be nice, but, it doesn't look like anything special. And then I watch it, and I'm like, what? Like, I also feel like I went on a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, and, like, it was just nothing that I expected, and then it was well done.
Mm.
And that's the kind of movies that I like to get Best Picture and things like that.
Right. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't get nominated. I didn't see it, but like I said, my wife.
Oh no, that last part I was talking about the holdovers again. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, the holdovers. I'll be honest. I don't think it was a great movie, but I think it had good individual acting. I thought the boy, Paul, and what's her name? Divine Joy Randolph. I thought the three of them. You didn't. The rest of the movie was the rest of the movie. Just those three on screen were excellent. Excellent. Okay movie, but excellent performances. So that's why I'm rooting for that to win. I don't think it will. It's one of those.
There are times too that you can have like acting, like be what wins here, and then director wins here and picture wins there, and I can understand how that can happen sometimes. And there are things where sometimes they give it all to something. Because it's funny when you were talking about Jodie Foster earlier.
The Lambs.
She won for Silence of the Lambs, which I absolutely don't think should have happened. Mm-hmm. I love Silence of the Lambs. I understand Anthony Hopkins winning. I understand it winning Best Picture. I understand it winning Director. I just did not see her as enough for what she got. She's done excellent things in the past, blah blah blah, since blah blah blah. But that one just, I was like, I didn't think her role was enough for it. But I think in that sense, they wanted to just give the sweep.
Right. Yeah, I don't know too many movies that won Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, and Best Movie. But I remember that one. And, Jodie Foster had just won a few years before.
The Accused, yeah.
for the accused, right? One last thing for me as we wrap it up. I do not have the nominees for best song from a movie, but I'm going to say that What Was I Built For, the song from Barbie, is the song that I want to win, and it's the song that I think will win. My wife loves that song. She gets these feelings when she listens to that song. So for her, I hope it wins. And I don't see why it won't. After all, Barbie's got to win something. They got to give Barbie something. And I don't think it's going to be Ryan Gosling, and I don't think it's going to win Movie of the Year or anything like that. So
I don't remember everything that's nominated for song, but I do know there's that one, and then also the Ryan Gosling song from the movie.
Yeah. Silly.
So more than likely, just it having 2 out of the 5, it's going to end up,
Right.
that one anyways.
They don't cancel each other out.
I don't think so, because I mean I've heard the song; it is a good song.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Larry, any parting words before we actually end this and watch the Academy Awards this coming?
Oh man, I'm looking forward to seeing the Academy Award. I just want to see if these picks that we have are us being movie buffs, movie people, entertainment people, how you can just call the narrative before it happens. I want to see if it goes to the narrative that we think is going to happen. I hope we get Trump on some of these picks, though. To be honest,
yeah, it would be nice.
I really do. I really do. And then I'm on a mission to see the rest of them films because I want to see it. Because now, I definitely want to see The Eye. I want to see American Fiction. But like you said, I was waiting for the I'm not paying $20, man, when I could wait for it to hit the lives, wherever streaming service is going to be on. I'd rather wait for it to hit then, So I'm definitely
going to try to get my last 4 in before Sunday, but I don't know if I'll make it or not.
I really only want to see American Fiction and maybe Poor Things because we're hyping it up, and I like Emma Stone and I like Mark Ruffalo. So those might be the only 2. Listen, I'll see Killers of the Flower Moon when I see it. I'm sure it'll be on something. It'll be on Netflix or something eventually.
I think after you see Poor Things, Gil, your new favorite term will be furious jumping.
Furious jumping. Okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind, because for a long time after I watched the animated movie Assault on Arkham, which was the first Suicide Squad movie cartoon, there was a line from what's her name, Harley Quinn, where she said Yahtzee, and that was my favorite line for a long time. See the movie and see her say that, and then you might know why I like it so much. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the Academy Award, guys. I want to thank Larry and Michelle for helping me do this special. Another one in the vault, another special episode. Can't wait till our next special one. Larry, you and I will do the huge this coming Wednesday in 2 days, as long as nothing comes up. Yeah. And I want everybody to enjoy the Academy Awards, and it's the big show. It's going to be Sunday night, 8 p.m. ABC. Hopefully,
no, it's an hour earlier apparently this year.
Why?
I don't know, but I keep seeing things for it that it's at 7.
Is it at 7 or that red carpet crap is at 7?
No, actually at 7.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Well, then 7 o'clock it is. So for Michelle Chaffatelli, my main man, Larry Loper, I'm Gil and Larry. Everybody stay safe. Watch the Academy Awards, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Deuces, y'all.
Deuces. Another great show. Thank you once again, Michelle.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Bye, guys.
My man Gil, $100 grand, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.